I don't remember how we do this. It's been a billion years.
It has been a billion years. You say, hi, welcome to Late to School.
Uh-huh.
Flip Flappers Watchcast.
Okay.
And then you say, I'm Lorena.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I'm Zach.
Okay.
And then we say some bullshit, some like stupid garbage, and then we talk about the episode.
Uh-huh. Well, I think that's good for an opening to the episode.
Uh-huh.
Hi.
Hi.
Nope. Hi, and welcome to Late to School, a Flip Flappers Watchcast. I'm Lorena.
And I'm Zach.
And we're going to say some stupid bullshit, and then we're going to talk about the episode.
Yeah.
Now, before we start, we should make it very clear that we're recording this after a very long hiatus.
Yes.
The gap between the last few episodes of the Sailor Moon season is the gap in which we were not recording.
Yes. There will be no hiatus within
the Flip Flapper season. Hopefully.
For the perspective of the audience, hopefully. Yes.
Don't curse it.
But we're caught up.
Mm-hmm.
We know what's happening.
And we're ready to talk about the finale.
Yeah.
Before we do that, though, last time I remembered I did not talk about the Japanese voice actors for Mimi and Nyu.
Okay.
The new characters who were introduced. Or I guess, in Mimi's case, not really new.
Right.
Nyu's Japanese voice actress is Marika Kono, who does not have a lot of roles that I recognize.
Okay.
She is Midori in Fire Emblem Fates.
Right.
Who is a drug dealer.
Right.
And Mimi's Japanese voice actress is Ai Kayano, who has a lot more roles that I recognize.
Uh-huh.
She's Menma in Anohana, The Flower We Saw That Day, which is a very good show that we should watch at some point.
I have no idea what that is.
She's Sayaka in Bloom Into You, which is another show we should watch. Mm-hmm. And she's Ryoko Sakaki in Food Wars, which is a show we should not watch.
Oh, okay.
It's mediocre at best.
Okay.
With that out of the way, let's talk about this finale.
Let's talk about this finale, the last two episodes.
Uh-huh. The first of which is episode 12, Pure Howling, which first aired on December 22nd, 2016. It was directed by, as always, Kiyotaka Oshiyama, along with Yoshimichi Kameda and Yasushi Muroa, who you may recognize for directing some earlier episodes. Specifically some episodes that get very clear visual references in this one.
Right, okay. That makes sense. I do not recognize the name because it's been 50 years since we last recorded, but yeah. It
was written by Naoki Hayashi, and I don't know if this is the first writing credit they have, but it's the first one. It's the first time IMDb has listed a writer aside from the original writer.
Okay.
Who, if you forget, left the show.
Oh, right. I forgot about that, yeah. So, we start off, when last we left our heroes, Papika and Yayika are on the flying surfboard.
Mm-hmm.
The hover surfer?
The hover surfer.
That's what it's called. I remember things. And they have entered Pure Illusion.
Yep.
Which is opening up into the real world now. To save Cocona from her mom. Or whatever. So after they've entered Pure Illusion, what is the environment? They see the snow plane, right?
Yeah, it's basically just a snowy forest.
Okay.
It's like the
first one, right?
It's like the first one, yeah.
And Papika recognizes it and flashes back to when Mimi vanished with Cocona. Which is not where I was expecting her to flash back to. And we see a younger Papika sitting naked in a tree.
Yeah.
Inside a hollow tree that looks like a prison cell.
Which is, I'm just going to remind you, is a thing we've seen before. We've seen this tree with the prison bar, like, opening on the in the trunk, alongside the river.
Yes, I remember now,
Cocona's boat was going down.
And then we see a figure in the flashback approach Papika and demand to know who she is. And then we unflashback. And in the present, Yayika asks Papika if she knows where the fuck they are. And Papika sniffs the air and is like, I smell Cocona.
Yep.
And Yayika is like,
Do you?
Do you? Really?
That seems weird.
Are you sure? And Papika's like, it's her. She's the Cocona I love.
And Yayika's like, oh, well, can't argue with that. And they fly off.
And then the opening. I missed the opening song. It's such a fucking
It's really good.
jam.
After the opening, we get Cocona and Mimi floating down the river in the boat. Mimi basically is like, hey, don't worry, Cocona. I know you're afraid that someone's going to take you away, but I'll never leave. You don't have to worry about anything or answer to anyone ever again. And she says, for you, the world will be painted just the way you want it. Meanwhile, Hideka is very upset.
Yeah, I think, is this the bit, because I was going to say, is this the bit where we just cut to Hideka's face screaming?
Yes, and
but
there's a lot of those.
Yeah, I think there's several bits where in these two episodes where that happens.
All the equipment in the flip-flap safe house is just real old. And Salt is like, can you make it work? And, like, of course.
Of course.
What would you take him for?
He's just going to complain about it.
And then he yells at Yu and Boo to help him. And Yu is just part of the crew now.
Yeah.
I think she was basically part of the crew in the last episode, but it's even more clear here that just she has no loyalty.
Yeah, she's just along for the ride.
Sayuri, meanwhile, is bandaging Salt's wounds, and she's like, hey, is Cocona gonna be alright? Salt just doesn't say anything.
Got a brood.
And the science team get the machines running, and a set of monitors showing footage of the town turn on? Because I guess they have surveillance over the town?
Well, maybe it's like, okay, so they have surveillance into Pure Illusion, right?
I guess.
So maybe they can just see the town now because Pure Illusion
because it's in Pure Illusion.
Yeah, like the real world and is having Pure Illusion leak into it.
Yeah.
That makes sense to me.
And then Salt gets up and, he's gonna leave the rest to Hideka. And Sayuri is like, what's up? What are you gonna do? And Salt says that he's gonna use the Asclepius capsule.
Yeah.
And this is the first time we hear someone say that word out loud.
Wait, is it?
Yeah.
I feel like someone said it.
There was chanting. There was chanting in the background.
Okay.
Of some of the scenes with Asclepius.
Okay.
But
so that it is pronounced Asclepius.
At least according to the voice director of this show.
Yes.
Who I think is Salt's voice actor. So.
He just decided for himself. And then back in Pure Illusion, Yayika and Papika find Cocona.
Uh-huh.
They find the boat.
Mm-hmm.
And they fly down towards it, but Mimi floats up to meet them.
Mm-hmm.
And is like, who the fuck are you?
And Yayaka says, we're buds of Cocona.
Uh-huh.
And Mimi is very confused.
Yeah. Mimi's like, buds? And then Yayaka is like, we're friends of Cocona. Which is really funny to me.
Mimi is like, well, you're the only ones who think that.
Mm-hmm. Which is a very biting line.
Yeah. And
Mimi gets a lot of those.
Yeah. She tells them Cocona doesn't want to see them.
Mm-hmm.
And is like, hey, Papika, remember, Cocona hates liars.
Mm-hmm.
And then she's like, I wonder, who do you really want to see?
Mm-hmm.
Is it Cocona? Or... And she doesn't finish because Papika just yells, I want both! My sweet Cocona and my kind and gentle Mimi. Give them back!
Papika has 2 hands.
Mm-hmm.
Although it is weird to use both hands for your best friend and her daughter / your best friend and her mother.
Yeah. Yeah.
Listen, Papika has a complex life.
She really does. She then yells at Yayaka to go, and they fly down toward Cocona. And Mimi is like, hey, you're not going to take her away. And her eyes start glowing.
Uh-huh.
And she yells, disappear without a trace.
Hmm?
And everything goes weird.
Yep. She casts a black hole.
Mm-hmm. And Papika and Yayaka are suddenly in cages.
Yeah.
Going down a conveyor belt.
Long, tall cages going down a conveyor belt.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Which should be a familiar visage? Visage?
Visage.
Okay.
Visage?
Visage would be the French pronunciation, I think.
That sounds like a Star Wars character name.
Visage ventris, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. And Papika is like, hey, hold on. And then transforms and breaks her and Yayaka out. And a shard of Amorphous appears in front of them, or
No.
No? I don't understand where this comes from.
That was from... So I did rewatch the previous episode to this one. That is the Amorphous that Salt gave Yayaka.
Oh, right.
It doesn't appear.
Right.
She drops
it. Okay. And it just falls. And Yayaka is like, hey, we're gonna fall too. And she kicks Papika away. So the two of them can find footing on their own.
Yeah, she kicks them both through the bars of the cage that they're in, which is a hell of a move.
Mm-hmm. And Yayaka grabs the Amorphous, and they both manage to get their footing.
Mm-hmm.
And Papika leads her towards the exit that she remembers, the sort of drainage pipe.
With the big chompy
and they
stuff still.
They run towards the big chompy bits, and Papika's like, that's the exit, and Yayaka is like, that seems wrong. Meanwhile,
Yuxkiel
he's awake.
Is still at Cocona's destroyed house for some reason, even though I'm pretty sure Papika took him with her.
You're the one who watched that episode most recently, so I'll take your word for it.
But he's just in a bag, and maybe she left him there for safekeeping.
I remember her leaving him there.
Okay. But he's in a bag, and he's awake now, and he's just...
Sniffle.
Like Papika.
Yeah.
Cinematic parallels.
Mm-hmm. Then we're in another part of Pure Illusion.
Yep.
It's the, sort of really, really abstract place that wasn't, the center of an episode, but was where they found the entrance to Iraha's memories.
Mm-hmm. It's where, it's
with the giant spiders.
Yeah,
and there are a lot of giant spiders here. Meanwhile, there's going to be a lot of that.
Yeah, it's just a lot of Yayaka and Papika dealing with Pure Illusion's bullshit, and then cutting to something else.
Quick cuts between other stuff. Salt and Sayuri are driving towards the Asclepius base. But they slip on the ice, I guess?
Yeah,
Salt does an Akira slide.
And
They're on a motorcycle. I don't know if I said that.
Yeah, they're on a motorcycle, and Salt says some shit about, like, if you're going to follow me, be careful.
That's after they crash.
That's after they crash, but also, Sayuri wasn't the one driving.
Yeah, I guess she wasn't wearing a seatbelt. Don't know.
On the back of a motorcycle?
You know how motorcycles have seatbelts?
On the back, especially, is where they have them.
But Boo and Nunu are here.
Yeah.
And they're flying, and Nunu just kind of points, and then it cuts to Sayuri riding in Boo's arms.
Yeah.
As he just sort of flies her alongside Salt.
He just kind of King K. Rool helicopters around.
Meanwhile, Toto and Yu have arrived. They're at the ruins of the Asclepius base. Mm-hmm. And there's, like, nothing left.
Yeah, it's still a wreckage that's covered in flowers and shit.
And Yu's like, hey, that's weird. And then one of the, trees, if you remember.
Yeah. The tree monsters.
The tree monsters crashes through a nearby wall.
Mm-hmm. From the first Pure Illusion.
Mm-hmm. And a bunch of rubble nearly falls on Yu, crushing her, but Toto pushes her out of the way. And has clearly hurt himself very bad.
Yes.
And...
Because, I mean, last time he was
pretty fucked up.
He was pretty fucked up, and he explicitly was like, my wound just opened again. Uh-huh. And then was like, I'll be fine. Uh-huh. Which was really funny.
And Yu, like, turns around holding her big gauntlet.
Yeah.
And I think she's, like, going to attack the tree.
Yeah.
I think it's very unclear.
It's really cool, actually. Like, I think this is the first time we've seen either of the twins.
Yeah.
Like, very emotive.
Yes.
Like, Yu is pissed. Mm-hmm. But Toto tells her it's okay. Uh-huh. And then he just fucking collapses.
Yep. Meanwhile, in Pure Illusion... Uh-huh. The girls, they destroyed the spiders.
Yep.
And the world is like, hey, different one now. And it's Mad Max.
Yeah.
And Yayaka is like, hey, Papika, you should eat. Which is, like, directly calling back to that time when Yayaka had some food and didn't let Papika have it. And Papika is surprised, but takes it because she's Papika.
Uh-huh. I love that Yayaka was just keeping a candy bar on her. Or
gotta
like
keep
a
your
granola
energy
bar
up.
or something.
Yeah, And, well,
it's Yayaka, so it would be a candy bar, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, because she only eats sweets.
Yeah, her fucking teeth are gonna be so bad. Yeah, well, Witcha
is here. And even hornier than before.
Is she?
There's a lot more in this scene of her being like, ooh, that hurt, I bet you like that. You're a bad girl. Uh-huh. I feel like there's more of that in this scene.
It is uncomfortable.
It's pretty bad. And she's like, hey, you weren't very nice last time. Mm-hmm. And she yells that she'll crush them to death.
Yeah.
And they fight. The girls avoid most of the attacks, but Witcha gets the upper hand and cocoons Papika. Mm-hmm. And is like, don't worry, I'll get to you next. And focuses on Yayaka, who uses the distraction of her cocooning Papika to wrap Witcha's neck in her explosive cable.
Yeah, which doesn't seem to do much.
Not yet.
Unfortunately, but...
Because Witcha does immediately cocoon Yayaka as well. And... there's a line here that I noted because it's really fucking weird. She says, does this tickle your fancy, my little harlot? Just gonna move on. Just wanted to point it out, but I'm just gonna move on from that.
We should.
And then we see Cocona and Mimi in the boat.
Yeah.
Which is now floating in the sky.
Yep.
And they are watching all this happen.
Are you looking for the word transpire?
No, go down, I think is what I was looking for.
Okay.
And Mimi, once again, is like, don't worry, all the people who want to separate us, they'll be dead soon. She doesn't say that, but, you know.
They'll be gone soon.
And at this point, Welwitschia starts doing a fucking villain monologue. And taunts Yayaka, and is like, you can't even beat me without those little munchkins who were with you before.
She does call them munchkins.
And she basically is like, oh, I bet you've outlived your purpose. And Yayaka tells her to shut the fuck up. And she pulls the pin on her explosive cable and just blows them both up.
And it's really cool.
It's pretty cool. Meanwhile,
Asclepius base.
Yu has put Toto into a medical bed. I think the one that was healing Yu before in an earlier episode.
Oh, probably.
Or was it healing Toto? I don't remember. Anyway.
Oh no, it would have been healing Toto. Yeah, because he was the one that got super fucked up.
When a voice calls out to the children of Amorphous, and the priest, the high priest, is here. Yeah, and
he looks different though.
Well, he's been nearly consumed by plants.
Well, no, not that. I meant he's got the one eye instead of the two eyes.
Oh, maybe this is just a rando priest then.
Yeah.
Huh. That's weird. But
it's a high priest.
Yeah. He tells Yu that she needs to heal him immediately. And Yu is like, shut up. And then she turns away and says, kind of to herself, Yayaka would say that. And the priest just kind of collapses behind her.
It's so good.
And then she looks up, and we cut to, at the same time, Sayuri and Salt. And they see the desert starting to break through into... I don't want to call it the real world, because I think the show is sort of, like, disputing that notion, but there's no other way to really refer to it.
Yes. What, the Earth Prime.
Yeah. Back in Pure Illusion.
In the desert.
Yayaka's real hurt.
Yep.
Well, it just seems fine.
Yep. She is going into, like, full-on monster mode, I'm pretty sure.
And we see the shard of Amorphous on the ground by Yayaka's head. And she sort of reaches out to try and grab it. And Papika yells to her words of encouragement. And then tells her to think about your greatest treasure. What's most precious to you?
And Yayaka's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
And she grabs the Amorphous.
And Welwitschia is just looming over her in her final form.
And Yayaka says, if this thing can really make one's wishes come true, I at least want to see you one more time. And she flashes back to memories of Cocona.
Yeah.
And she sort of narrates over this.
Yeah, she says, at first I was only on orders from the organization, but then I found the place where I truly belong, and that was always next to you. So, I have to apologize. I don't know if you'll ever forgive me. I've lied to you for such a long time, but I'm sorry. If you can somehow forgive me, could we be friends again?
And I'm crying.
Same. And she's crying, I'm pretty sure.
And the shard starts glowing.
Yeah.
And we see Cocona in the boat sort of notice this. And, like, all this time Cocona has basically been, like, emotionless and unresponsive to anything.
Yeah, it's like Mimi is sapping her will.
And this is, like, the first time she's really reacted. And Yayaka starts to struggle to her feet. And I can't yell this with the fervor that it needs. But she does yell, my greatest treasure was always going to be Cocona. Which she screams Cocona. And
a big fucking burst of light opens up around her.
And it's time for flip-flapping.
Yep.
And she transforms.
Yep. She gets a transformation sequence. It is extremely unexpected and cool.
Also, much less gross. Her hair turns green.
Yeah.
And she just immediately demolishes Welwitschia. It's very cool. And there's, like, a shot of her smiling as Welwitschia just explodes behind her. And
so good.
She turns to Papika and unravels the cocoon, which I guess is her power. She has, like, a ball that she kicks at Will Witcha.
Yeah.
But she also apparently can just unravel things.
Uh-huh. She's got vague powers. Mm-hmm. She's new at the whole magical girl thing.
Mm-hmm. And I guess the twins saw this, because we see a shot of them, and they're both like, wow, Yayaka's so cool.
That is, I love, Yu literally says that. Mm-hmm. It's so, God, the characterization on these, like, previously villainous characters is so good.
Mimi's not as impressed.
No.
And is like, Cocona, you should choose better friends. And Papika and Yayaka, both transformed, yell for her to give Cocona back, and they fly towards them.
Yeah. Meanwhile,
Salt and Sayuri are descending via rope into the ruins of the base. I don't know why they have to descend via rope when the twins just kind of walked here.
Well, the twins probably know where the tunnels are.
Yeah, that's true. Salt explains what we already know about the Elpis capsule, and meanwhile, Yu and Boo
are just hanging out.
Just hanging out
in the base.
They're just hanging out. I don't know how they got down here.
I mean, I guess Boo could have floated.
I guess
you down. Why didn't he go back up for Sayuri and Salt?
And they notice a weird noise. And whoops, they're on top of the trees.
Yep. And the trees are upset.
Mm-hmm. And they wake up and begin. They're not fast enough to call it a stampede.
No.
But they're moving.
They're moving. They're chugging. They're trucking.
And Yu spots Salt and Sayuri and tells them that she found the entrance. And they walk towards it.
The entrance also, though, is behind some of the trees now.
Yes.
Who are not moving. Well, they're moving, but they're not helpfully moving.
And back at the safe house.
Yes.
Hideka is watching this.
He knows.
Because I guess he can.
He can, and he has a solution to this tree problem.
He whips his glasses off, and he fucking Bishonen sparkles.
Yep. We see his eyes for the first time.
And he says in a much less mad scientist-y tone that it's finally that time. And he presses a switch, which is actually a button, labeled muscle in English. And we see in outer space, orbiting the Earth, is a yellow capsule with a satellite on it, also labeled muscle.
Yep.
And it begins to descend. And Boo freaks the fuck out. And his eye starts to spell out muscle. And then a bunch of meat attaches to him, and other robot parts.
Meat and, other robot parts, like meat.
Well, other parts that are robotic like him.
Right. And also meat.
Which
also he has, kind of.
Yeah.
Because he's got a brain.
He turns into a big buff robot man.
He's a big buff robot man now.
And he grabs onto one of the trees. And Hideka kindly informs us, power has increased by 8, physical strength up by 9, intelligence is up by 1?
And
Boo is not strong enough.
Yeah, he is strong enough to sort of nudge the trees, and then just kind of falls on his face.
Yeah.
And as he is eating shit, Salt and Sayuri climb over his back to get to the exit. Or the entrance, rather.
Yeah. Hideka is not happy about this development. What the fuck was the point of that? I've watched the show 5 times, but I don't know. It just happened.
It's very funny.
It is.
It's very strange.
Meanwhile, Papika calls out to Cocona. But Mimi's out of the boat. And she is once again standing between Cocona and her girlfriends. And she says she needs to decide for Cocona.
And Yayaka yells, "That's some crazy bullshit!"
And Mimi responds, "Oh dear, even wearing that cute little outfit, you've still got a dirty mouth parading around on that cute face." And then she asks why they want to take Cocona from her mother. And Papika's like, "Hey, Mimi wouldn't do this." And Mimi's like, "Nah, this is exactly what me and Cocona want." And before Papika can be like, "That sounds wrong," pure illusion is it change in time. And now we're in Tron.
We're in Tron again.
And the angels are here.
Yep, the giant
It's time
monster.
for second impact.
I don't know what that means.
And we see the tree trunk cage grow up around the boat with Cocona inside it, and Mimi tells her to wait.
Yeah.
She'll take care of it. And Yayaka and Papika fight the monster.
Right.
But, of course, can't hurt it. Because they don't have their Transformers.
Yep. Oh, yeah, I actually forgot that detail.
And the two of them are, like, knocked away, and Cocona's not reacting to this.
And the mech's not really doing anything right now. It's just kind of standing there menacingly.
But Yayaka has a plan. And she flies off towards the monster, and she, like, gets a few feet away from it, de-transforms. The monster is like, "Oh, good, easy target," and just lowers its fist.
And then she transforms back.
And, like, holds it off.
Well, I mean, she does get fucking
She
punched.
does get, yeah.
But while it's distracted with her, she yells at Papika to cut it the fuck up.
She yells at Papika to cut through, but Papika decides to just fly towards Cocona. She doesn't really attack the monster.
I guess using the distraction, cut through, like, cut in line. Cut around the monster. The dialogue in this show, we need to sort of maneuver around sometimes.
Yeah.
We need to cut through it.
Cocona sees Yayaka getting smashed into the ground, and this makes her react a little bit. And Papika just flies towards her, yelling Cocona as she is wont to do. And Cocona is clearly still kind of dazed.
Yeah.
But is like, "Oh, Papika." And she reaches out her hand. But before they can reach each other, Mimi grabs Papika with her hair. And she yells that she hates Papika for intruding. And Papika begs her to stop once again, and asks her to give Cocona back. And Mimi says, "Give her back? Are you insane? I created this incredible world. It's all just for Cocona."
That's not true. You're plagiarizing other worlds that we've already seen.
Well, it's complicated.
Unless this entity that is currently Mimi is whatever created Pure Illusion in the first place.
I think that's true.
Okay.
Papika tells her that Cocona already has a special place back home, and Mimi is like, "But it's hard there."
Yeah.
She's been sad. And she says that she could never abandon her daughter in a world like that. That's what mothers are supposed to do for their children. And Papika's like, "No, Mimi said the opposite." And we flash back to Mimi and Papika shortly after, or like seemingly a few months after running away from the facility. Mimi is not like really visibly pregnant, but you can see like a hint of a bump on her stomach. And Papika asks her if she has a name for the baby, and it's Cocona. And Mimi starts to say, "Hey, after Cocona's born," and then we cut back to the present.
Yep.
And a fucking tendril of Mimi's hair just embeds itself in the back of Papika's spine. And Mimi is like, "Don't you remember what I said?" And it flashes back again.
Yeah, we see fucking very creepy zoom in on Papika's face as, like, veins of reddish black start forming on her face, like the color of Mimi's tendril hair.
Mm-hmm. And we see Mimi in the past saying, after Cocona's born, I swear I will always be there for her. I won't let anything come between us, ever. Not even you. And we see Papika looking like,
She is just being fucking eldritch puppeted.
Mm-hmm. And Mimi releases Papika and is like, no one wants you. So just disappear. Don't come back. Don't come near my Cocona. And Papika collapses, and pure illusion turns into a field of flowers.
Yep, like we've seen outside the Asclepius.
Yeah, but there's no lake, so it's like it's reminiscent, definitely.
Right. Yeah, and I think there's trees around.
Yeah,
there's more trees around it.
And meanwhile, a voice calls out to Cocona from behind her.
It's still in the tree.
In the tree,
is
yes.
Still here.
And we see Mimi standing behind her. And she asks Cocona if this is how she wants to live her life. And Cocona's like, Mom said she'd decide everything. I can't make my own decisions. I've always been that way. I couldn't even decide on a career. I only went on adventures because I was dragged. And Mimi tells her it's not that she couldn't decide. She just needed some courage.
I do want to point out also that this Mimi does not have like the red band around her neck that the other
really?
Mimi does.
I did not pick up on that. Okay.
So they are easy, that you can tell them apart visually.
Okay. And Mimi assures Cocona that everyone feels that way sometimes. And there's nothing weird about it at all. And Cocona asks her if she felt that way, and Mimi is like, yeah. And so did your dad. And she says, the choice is yours to make. Choose the life you'll be happy with. And then she disappears, and Cocona seems to, like, come to her senses and stop being dazed. And she immediately, like, turns and grips the bars and sees Papika and calls out to her. And the other Mimi is not into that. And we see Papika kneeling on the ground, and she's like not reacting as both Cocona and Yayaka call and reach out to her. And then everything sort of fades to white.
Yes.
And the other Mimi, not the bad Mimi, is beside her, and they're now at the lake. And Mimi...
I forget, does Papika have her short hair?
Papika has her short hair now.
Okay.
And Mimi is wearing the flower crown that she made her.
Right, okay.
And she asks Papika if she remembers her wish for Cocona. And we flash back again to Mimi and Papika. And this time Mimi says, after Cocona is born, I want her to choose her own path and to be whatever she wishes most for herself. I wasn't given that. No one asked me what I wanted. That's why when my child is born, she'll be free.
Yeah.
And
then I'm crying.
Then I'm crying too. And Papika snaps out of it, and she sort of picks herself up and runs towards Cocona. And she narrates, I won't hesitate. Not anymore. I know what needs to be done. I've loved you since the day you were born. My beautiful Cocona. That bit of the line should maybe have been changed.
Should maybe have been changed.
It's true, but
it's true in a way.
Maybe is an awkward sentiment to express.
Yeah, it's she didn't love her in the same way.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
And then we also see Cocona, also like still reaching out, and she narrates to herself, I won't run away. Even if I regret a decision I've made, there will always be another chance. Let's go, Papika. And
they reach out towards each other, and their hands are about to touch when Mimi interrupts. Exactly how do you think you've been able to transform? And Papika detransforms and collapses onto the ground. And Cocona yells that she can do it and keeps trying to reach out for her. And she shouts, "I really love you, Papika." And they reach out again, and their fingers... What?
This is my favorite part.
It's really good. Their fingers touch, and there's a white light, and when the light fades, we see Papika and Cocona standing with, like, their right hands pressed against each other, and they are wearing wedding dresses.
They are wearing...
Magical girl wedding dresses. And they are very good. Mimi, not happy with her daughter's decision. It's not a choice, Mom. Not a happy mother of the bride. And she starts to just break down, and the angel's back. And
the Eva monster.
It emerges from the ground behind her, and she, of course, yells that Cocona is a bad girl. And as the monster sort of, like, fully emerges, and Papika and Cocona just kind of smile at each other, and fly off, and demolish it.
Yeah, just nonchalantly wreck this mech shit.
Papika, like, knocks on its shin, and Cocona then just punches it away. And the episode ends with them just fist bumping.
That, honestly, could have been the end of the season, and I would have been pretty fine.
I really like the ending we do get, but that would have been fine.
But that is the end of the episode.
The next episode is episode 13.
Finale. The final.
The final. Pure audio, which was directed exclusively by Kiyotaka Oshiyama.
Okay.
Again, written by Naoki Hayashi. And it first aired December 29th, 2016. Okay.
So this one opens with the explosion at the Asclepius facility, the one that Salt and Papika originally lost Mimi in. We see Papika holding Mimi.
This is like after she leapt after her as she was disappearing.
Papika is holding Mimi, who is also holding a baby Cocona. And they're enveloped in light, and Mimi turns around and just hands Cocona to Papika without saying anything, and Papika calls out to her as she falls away and then shatters into the shards of Amorphous.
So that is our, like, direct confirmation that the shards are Mimi.
Yes.
And then we see Papika, who is laying naked.
She's a baby now. We see her, like, age weird.
No, she's not a baby yet.
She's not a baby yet?
No, she's an adult, but her hair is longer.
Right, okay.
And a plant sprouts next to her, and it grows into the prison tree. And then we see her regress into being a baby.
Yep.
And then some amount of time later, Papika, who is, like, 10 years old?
Yeah,
she's 8 to 10 years old.
She's like in the baby mode we've seen her in before in like Iroha's Pure Illusion.
And she's sitting alone in the tree prison. And then
still naked.
Yeah. Cocona appears on the other side of the bars.
She's also in baby mode.
Yeah. She's dressed in like sort of a similar fashion to Mimi, which is interesting.
Oh yeah, I didn't notice that.
And she's like, "Who are you?" And Papika sort of approaches her, and Cocona says, "You used to be a bit older than me. You were an old lady too, and also a baby. But now it seems you're the same as me." What?
This show is just so fucking weird.
It also, like, that line implies that Papika didn't just regress, she was, like, shifting around.
Yeah.
And Cocona introduces herself, and Papika is like, "I don't remember who the fuck I am or anything." And then, of course, her stomach growls. And Cocona brings her some food from somewhere. And Papika just... I love how this is animated. She just fucking devours it, and it's, like, really gross.
Yes. She's a fucking feral child. Like, she just goes to town on some bananas.
And, like, a watermelon. And Cocona promises to stay with her until she feels better. And Papika's like, then will you be my best friend, Cocona? And Cocona nods, and they hold hands through the bars. And then the bars part, and they lean against each other. And then we get the opening. That was all preview. Back in the present day, Cocona and Papika are still having their wedding.
And Cocona's mom is still being uncooperative with the ceremony.
Papika leaps forward and wraps Cocona in a hug, but Cocona pushes her away and is like, stop it. And Papika's like, but you said you really, really loved me too. And Cocona is like, yeah, but it was,
Cocona is
clearly having trouble getting over her indecisiveness.
Just can't help but no homo at your own wedding.
Yayaka is watching this.
She has also de-transformed because, again, she's lost the power of the amorphous.
And she says that it's not fair to be that happy. It's clearly, like...
But she says it with a smile.
Yeah,
Listen, Cocona and Yayaka can have another wedding later. Papika will officiate.
But Mimi's still here. She's angry. And she yells, sort of spelling out her arc for us. Don't you know children belong to their parents? And two blobs ooze out of the ground. They're tall and black, and they have multiple human-like skulls at the end of tendrils.
Yeah. They're fucked up looking. They're cool looking.
They're cool and fucked up.
They're cool and fucked up. Which also describes this show.
And Papika and Cocona fight them, and they just fucking tear them apart, and fucking blood gushes out of them.
Yes.
Not like a gusher, but like a high pressure hose.
Yes. Like a fucking, if you've ever played like the more recent fucking Ninja Gaiden games.
Yeah.
Anytime you cut someone's head off and it's just a fountain.
And they celebrate thinking they've won, but the blobs instantly reform.
There's a I noticed there was what sounded like a bell chime that reminded me of maybe the Yuri metaphor episode.
Yeah.
In school. Because I mean that one was about like a time loop. So it makes sense, like you hear the chime of the like clock, and now they've gone back to the way they were before.
There's also a weird like muffled laughing sound effect that I don't know if I can replicate at all. But it's very creepy.
It's unsettling.
And Mimi says, naughty children must always be punished. Until you're a good girl and do right by your mother, then mother will continue to spank you. And she sells it a bit more than I could. Yeah.
But it's an uncomfortable line inherently, so you gotta really sell it to make it work. And it does.
Mimi's pupils are very snake-like now, and her face is, like, cracking apart.
Yeah.
And the blobs attack the girls, and they have to dodge out of the way.
And we keep sort of cutting back to Mimi as her face
just becomes, like, a crocodile?
Yeah, she, like, her jaw fucking turns big and toothy for a moment, and then she goes back to just cracked Mimi face, and then she becomes like a full-on alien crocodile.
And Cocona begs her to stop, but Mimi yells that she'll never run away. And one of the blobs manages to grab Cocona's ankle, but Yayaka blows it up.
Yeah.
And while she's distracted doing that, another one tries to attack her, but Cocona pulls her out of the way. And meanwhile, shit's gone real weird. back in Earth Prime.
Things are getting real pure illusion.
Mm-hmm. Hideka is really frustrated, and he yells that he told them not to let their impedance get shaken up.
I can't even begin to describe the environment.
Yeah.
It's Dali-esque, I would say.
Mm-hmm. Sayuri and Yunyu are wondering what to do about Boo. And
who's just still, like, eating shit.
Yunyu pulls out her fucking Glock and, like, presses it against the dome that his brain is in. And just pulls the trigger. And the bullet just, like, ricochets through the dome until it, like, settles into Boo's brain. And I guess that reactivates him? And he yells that his limiters have been turned off. And he blasts off into pure illusion, I guess?
I don't
know what's happening with Boo in these episodes.
I don't know what's happening with Boo or with Nunu.
Yeah.
Like, how she thought to do that. Or if she was just going to put Boo out of his misery.
Yeah, and then the trees, which are not covered in snow anymore, start to move. And they nearly crush Nunu. Sayuri is gone, I guess?
Yeah,
And
she got away.
But Yu is here.
Yeah.
And she holds them off. And there's... Nunu is like... Big sister? And there's a beat. Elder sister? And Yu is just like, don't call me that. And there's another beat as she looks off into the distance and says very seriously, Big sis. Which is like...
I bet that scene worked a little better in Japanese.
Probably. She's like, Oni-chan. But...
It works really well
funny.
in English.
It's still funny. And also, I love that Yu's arc is just becoming more like Yayaka.
Yes.
Meanwhile, Yukskill's still here.
Yeah.
And he's freaking out.
Because a fucking portal has opened up directly in the house.
He, like, sniffs at it, and then we cut away.
Don't worry. We'll be back later.
And
we'll cover that later.
At the Asclepius facility, Sayuri has caught up with Salt, who is, according to him, adding something, a new layer to pure illusion.
Yes, they've reached the Elpis.
Yeah, they're in the Elpis. Or, like, in the room with the Elpis. Then he then strips naked, which I guess you have to do to get into the Elpis.
That is not true, because I rewatched that episode, and his dad did not strip naked.
He was
not
wearing
naked.
a hospital gown, though. Right?
Maybe. I feel like he was wearing his lab coat, but I could be misremembering.
He just wanted to get naked.
He just wanted to, it's uncomfortable.
He's been wearing that fucking trench coat for a long time.
And Sayuri is awkward about it, but also kind of into it.
There have been a lot of shots throughout these episodes of Sayuri, like, looking at Salt and clearly being, like, attracted to him.
Yes. Which is fair. Salt has gotten a lot. Salt has grown on me a lot.
Oh, Salt started hot.
He started hot, but he has also just grown on me a lot as a character, which makes him hard.
She, like, covers her eyes as he strips, but then peeks out. And he gets into the Elpis and tells her to boot it up. And... Back
in pure illusion, still fighting.
Yeah,
Mimi and Cocona and Papika still fight.
Papika tells her to stop. Mimi is like, I'm only being affectionate. It's all for Cocona. And she reaches out and grabs Cocona in her tendril hair.
Yeah.
But Cocona, like, slices it apart.
Yeah.
And begs for her to stop. And Mimi, like, cries out in pain, and then Cocona's immediately like, I'm sorry! But this has only made Mimi more mad. And the two blobs just expand and cover the sky and presumably just create a dome. And then pure illusion becomes a forest of wiggling, creepy trees. Not creepy. They don't actually look creepy, but,
They wiggle.
The girls are scared of it.
I mean, do they wiggle? I feel like it's like...
I wrote writhing in my notes.
Yeah, they move in the wind.
I don't know if that's how trees move in the wind, my dude.
I remember them moving like trees.
Nah, they moved real weird. But that fades quickly. As a loud ringing noise sort of sounds around them. And Mimi yells, "Don't come in here." And we see Salt.
Yeah.
And as he approaches Mimi and the girls, the ground and air around him becomes like gray.
Yes, it's so fucking cool. He like fucking his presence is like killing the forest around him, basically. Like the flowers and the grass are all wilting. The air is going gray. We see the trees surrounding them, just like the leaves all just fade away. It's so cool.
And Mimi demands to know why he's here, and he says that he needs to atone. And we cut to Earth Prime, where in the Elpis, Salt is very clearly in pain.
Yep.
And Sayuri panics and is like, "Oh, no, I'll turn it off. I'll turn it off." But Salt presses his hand against the glass and stops her. And back in Pure Illusion, Mimi yells at Salt, saying, like, he's so indecisive. He never could make up his mind. And is like, "Do you really think you can stop me?" And Salt says, "Yeah."
I forgot. Yeah, he's just kind of like, yeah.
Yes. And he adds that he's not going to ask for forgiveness. And Mimi basically tells him that he's extremely selfish and tells him to disappear. And it's always hard to describe these things.
Yeah.
Energy like erupts from her, and it like shoots out towards Salt, which and like turns the grass below it green again, and like cracks Salt's glasses and knocks them away.
Yeah.
But stops in its tracks as we see that next to Salt is the real Mimi.
Yeah.
Who, I can't tell if Salt is just very big or if this Mimi is smaller than the Mimi we've been seeing, the evil Mimi, the bad mom Mimi.
Right.
Because she's like, she's like up to his elbows at most.
I don't think she was that short in the flashbacks, though.
Yeah. But like, I don't know.
I don't think Salt was that much younger in the Flash. Well, no, he would have been, I guess.
He was that much younger, but he wouldn't have grown that much.
He wouldn't have grown that much. Because, like, however old Cocona is.
Yeah, it's been 14 years.
Yeah.
But...
he had a fucking growth spurt,
yeah,
you know?
I guess.
He just never stopped.
Regardless, Salt is shocked to see her, and Mimi just kind of looks away furtively, and is like...
Furtively?
Furtively? Furtively?
Furtively?
Furtively? Is that the word?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know English, man.
That's fair.
And she's like, you know, I really hate waiting around for people. Just, I don't know what that was, but it's cute, I guess.
It's cute. It's fucking... It's very, I think it's charming.
Yeah.
It's a good... They have a good relationship.
Uh-huh. And then the ground just starts to fall away as Mimi breaks down.
Bad Mimi.
Bad Mimi, sorry.
There's not another... We don't really have another name for this fucking entity.
The...
Mom.
Yeah.
Other mother.
Yeah, there you go. The ground falls away under Yayika, and she is about to just descend into the abyss when she is saved.
By a rabbit.
By a rabbit. Yuxkule's here.
Yuxkule's in Pure Illusion again.
And he's in his, like, superhero form.
Yeah. And he has a cape? I don't remember him having the cape
He had a
last
cape.
time.
He had a cape last time, yeah.
Did he have the blonde hair?
Yes.
He did?
He looks exactly how he did.
Okay. I guess it's just been so long since I saw that episode.
Yeah.
He looks fucking fantastic.
He's great.
He saves Ayaka.
And Papika is like, hey, you're not the real Mimi.
Okay. Papika, we've established that, I think.
Well, Mimi says that she is real. Papika just never got to know her. And Papika is like, why would I do that? The real Mimi would never hurt Cocona.
Uh-huh.
You aren't her. I hate this Mimi. And Mimi tells her that she's selfish, her and Cocona. And then is like, let's blow it all up. Start over.
Uh-huh.
And the girls get ready.
Uh-huh.
And Mimi says,
Uh-huh.
Mother knows the words. Like you two say. Time for flip-flapping.
Uh-huh.
And she fucking transforms.
Yep. This is also a really cool section.
Uh-huh. And her dress is like a combination of Papika and Cocona's wedding dresses.
Uh-huh.
But it's black, because she's a bad guy.
Yeah, of course.
And we see like a quick montage of everyone outside of Pure Illusion freaking out, or just like doing stuff. And then Mimi is just beating the shit out of Papika and Cocona.
Yep.
And she sort of like ascends into the sky, and she holds her arms wide and commands everything to vanish into oblivion along with me. And a swirling vortex opens up on her womb.
Yeah,
where her womb would be.
That's pretty much where. Yeah. Listen,
that's how it goes,
metaphors.
Man. That's how it goes.
She's an abyss now.
That's just how it be. And Pure Illusion is just fucking getting just hoovered. Just hoovered up. And Salt has collapsed onto the ground and is starting to fade. But Mimi tells him to believe in their daughter and their friend.
Yeah.
So,
again, such an awkward relationship. Just sort of balance
here,
but
it's
But then
Papika and Cocona.
Yeah, my favorite. This is my favorite.
They're recovering on a floating rock. And Cocona tells Papika to listen, and a soft piano cover of the main theme starts to play.
When you say main theme,
Serendipity. The opening music. Theme. Yes. No.
The credit music.
No, I'm pretty sure it's Serendipity. The opening.
Pretty sure it's the credit music.
I don't think it is.
Unless they're the same.
We'll play the tape, because I don't want to read this with you.
Okay.
It's very romantic and very good.
Yes.
So we will play the scene here.
Yes.
We'll play the audio of the scene.
Papika, listen to me. Papika, I never wanted to go on any of those adventures. But Cocona, I just wanted to keep floating down the river in my boat forever. I was afraid. I didn't want to make any decisions. But then, you dragged me along with you anyways. Pulled me out of the boat. Of course, I wanted to go on adventures with just you, Cocona. I wanted to be with you always. I couldn't possibly do it without you by my side. Was it only because you couldn't get there without me? No! That's not it at all! It's because I really, really, really love you! What? Me too, Papika. I love you. I want to go with you. No one else but you. Cocona! I want to be with you. To discover new worlds with you. To go on more adventures with you. That's why. We can't let it end here. Let's go, Papika.
Man, that was great.
Man, this is the first time we've ever played audio.
This is the first time we've done this.
So
but yeah.
That fucking scene, though.
It's incredible.
That dialogue. I love them.
I cry. And, like,
music.
Also, they both say, I really, really, really love you. Which is, like, I mentioned in the second episode that the dub changed Papika telling Cocona, I really, really like you. And It's a fine change, but it does make this less of a direct callback. It's still a callback, but, you know.
Right, yeah.
Also in Japanese, it's I love, love, love you. Which,
okay.
I don't know. They're both fine.
It's such a good scene.
It's very good.
The music is,
Mhm.
whatever the fuck it is, it's fucking good.
And they join hands, and everything is tearing apart.
Yep.
And Mimi is just like, come to me, my everything.
Bad Mimi, other mother.
Bad Mimi, yes. And Yayaka shouts at them to take her down.
Uh-huh.
And they fly towards Mimi, and they both yell in unison, "Don't you dare try to interrupt our adventure!"
Uh-huh.
And they crash into Mimi's vortex, and it cracks apart. And everything goes white. And then we cut to Mimi in a dark forest, laying alone in a shallow pond. And we see like one half of her face.
Yep, which we've seen before. We saw
yes.
when she is first contacted by the entity.
That is basically like, so that's what went wrong. And the other half is like, let's go back to the day our beautiful daughter was born, the day we were so looking forward to. And Mimi sits up, and we see Papika and Cocona watching her from behind the trees, and she's just sort of holding herself. And Cocona is like, is that her? Is that really her? Meanwhile...
You alright?
Yeah. No, sorry. That wasn't me choking up.
Oh, okay.
Pure illusion is still breaking down, and Salt has nearly completely faded. And we hear the voice of younger Salt. And we see like the knees of his lab uniform and his coat. And he tells the other Salt, tells the real Salt, to switch places with him. He says, that way you can go back and change what happened that day. But Salt just pulls a gun and shoots him right in the face.
It's so good.
And he...
Can I read what he says
you can
here?
say it.
I've already acknowledged my past. I will carry the scars of my own mistakes with me forever.
It's really good.
It's fucking powerful. Just get contacted by a psychic demon. Shoot him in the fucking face.
Mimi then appears before him and tells him that he can go back. It's okay. And Salt apologizes. And Mimi is like, why? And hugs him and tells him not to be sad. This line is good, but it's also very corny.
It is.
And she says, as he fades away in her arms, just promise that I'll always be your number one.
I thought that was like maybe referencing a line that I forgot.
No, I don't think it is. And he fades away, and we see tears streaming down her face. And then Yayaka and Yukskiel have found the exit, and they leap into it, and Yayaka yells to the other two to follow. Cocona yells at Mimi to come as well, but Mimi tells her, don't worry. And Cocona's like, hey, nope, not gonna leave you.
Can't lose you again.
But Mimi is like, don't worry, pure illusion will always continue. This isn't goodbye forever, Cocona. Raise your head up high and follow the path you choose. I'm always going to be watching over you. And Cocona tries to go towards her, but Papika just fucking bubbles her.
Yep.
And she tells Cocona that she's got it, and sends Cocona hurtling towards the exit. As Cocona screams and is like, hey, don't do this.
And we just see, like, Papika in the distance basically flying towards where Mimi was as the scene just fades away.
And then, Cocona wakes up. She is wearing, like, a sleep shirt and pants. And she's in a very normal bedroom.
Yep.
That has a bunch of posters of things that inspired the show.
Yep.
There's a poster for Sailor Loon. There's also a poster that is clearly referencing the film poster for Ben-Hur.
Yeah.
Which was one of the inspirations for the Mad Max episode. and some other stuff that I didn't quite catch.
Okay.
And Sayuri enters, and she wishes Cocona good morning.
Mm-hmm.
And Cocona's like, hey, what's...
Hey, what the fuck?
We gotta go back, we gotta get Papika. And Sayuri is like, ooh, breakfast. Let's do breakfast first. Hold on, let's do some breakfast.
I love that. I feel like the biggest theme of this show is get some food in you first.
Mm-hmm. They sit down for a lot of bread, and Sayuri is like, should it have been rice instead? And Cocona begs her to tell her what the fuck is going on, and why she won't tell her. And Sayuri sort of hesitates, and then is like, just be calm, haven't confirmed anything. And then we cut to the city, which looks pretty different now.
Yeah.
The buildings are a lot more modern than they were, a lot more realistic. It's a lot less colorful.
Yeah, the coloration is a lot more muted.
And Cocona is also out in the city, wearing her school uniform, but it's not her school uniform because it's not the, like, classic red, white, and blue sailor uniform. It is a sailor uniform, but it is, like, a dark navy blue with white accents, which is, I think, like, a much more realistic, like, what kids actually wear.
And we see some, like, construction work going on. It seems like implied there was some sort of building that broke down, maybe. But it wasn't the flip-flap building.
No.
Because
she goes there. And she tries to access the secret elevator code, but not working. And then she hears Hidaka yelling. And she goes to investigate. Can you describe what Hidaka is doing here? Because I don't know if I can.
Hidaka is... He's basically got... It looks like he tried to homebrew his own tech.
Yeah. He has a sign next to him that says, like, do not touch the high-powered PC. We are monitoring pure illusion. And he's wearing a hat... That looks like Boo, I think, is meant to be what's happening.
Oh, I didn't notice that. Okay, yeah. And he's got, like... His glasses have fucking, like, Christmas lights around them. And he's just sort of he's sitting, but jumping up and down, sorta, and just fiddling with shit. And yelling.
Yelling about how pure illusion is gone. No one can go in. They've tried. It didn't work. It's set the research back decades. And Cocona is like, what's going on? And he's like, I just said, man.
And he reiterates, no one can go back into pure illusion ever.
We then cut to Cocona rushing to the school nurse's office, where Yayaka is.
Where she lives.
And she's wearing, like, again, much more muted in colors. The school is also much more muted. Like, tracksuit. She's wearing, like, a tracksuit. And she is like, hey, if you're looking for Yuxkiel, he's at my house. And we cut to a fucking real-ass rabbit. Which has one ear. Not green, gray.
Just a gray rabbit. A very, like, realistically proportioned
in a tank that is much too small.
In a tank that is much too small. This timeline is bad for Yuxkiel.
In a tank? Not a cage.
Not a cage.
When Yuxkiel was, like, some weird amorphous blob, that was like,
tank was more...
Sure, fine, I guess.
I mean, I guess you could put a rabbit in a cage. You're a trained rabbit.
Yeah, you could put a rabbit in a cage. I guess you could.
Like, I guess the thing you just need to make sure they get some fresh air.
Yeah. Cocona is like, hey, no, take me to Pure Illusion. And Yayuka's like, we can't go together, Cocona. And Cocona is like, well, then try with the twins. It doesn't have to be me. And Yayuka's like, I did. Didn't work.
She said she tried a lot.
Cocona is like, hey, that sounds fake. That can't be true. And Yayuka's like, well, go see for yourself. And Cocona heads to the forest clearing, which, again, all the colors are gone.
Are wrong, yeah. This pipe is just a it's just a pipe.
Yeah.
It's not even, I couldn't even call it a blue pipe.
Yeah,
it was blue before, right?
Probably. There's basically
Right?
nothing in the clearing except for the pipe, and Cocona is just exhausted and decides to take a break, and she sits on top of the pipe, and she, like, looks down at her thigh and is like, well, if my birthmark isn't there anymore...
She's lost her own amorphous.
She starts to hesitantly pull up her skirt to look, and then the camera sort of pans out, and we see Papika just in the top of the pipe behind her, watching, and Cocona has not seen her yet. And then Cocona is about to, like, finally pull her skirt up to look, but then
it is a long pause where we just see Papika staring at her from behind, and Cocona not noticing her.
But then Cocona does see her, and she freaks out and jumps away. In a, like, very direct parallel of their first meeting. Or, I guess, like, their first meeting, but not the first time they saw each other.
Right, yes. Their first meeting on the show, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Cocona saw Papika fly by on the hover surfer when she was waiting for the tram.
Oh, right.
But, yeah. And Cocona is immediately like, where the fuck were you? How'd you get out of Pure Illusion? What? And Papika...
She is justifiably angry.
Papika is just nonplussed and explains that she got separated. So she was with Mimi. And she says that she couldn't see Cocona anymore. Which is a line that was just added entirely for the dub.
Really?
Yeah, is not in the Japanese at all.
I wonder why, because I don't understand that line very...
Yeah. And we sort of flash back to Cocona being sent through the exit, and then she just cuts it apart, I guess?
Yeah.
And she starts to realize she never left Pure Illusion. And a very good song starts to play. I'll give the details of the song after we finish.
Okay, yeah.
And the camera pans up to a cloudy sky as we see the shadow of a massive butterfly pass over.
I feel like this is a motif that I think we have not talked about. I want to point out their outfits, their transformation outfits with the wedding dresses, very clearly have, like, butterfly.
Yeah, and also their original transformation outfits had butterfly motifs. Cocona is like, why didn't you come back earlier? And Papika says she was off eating yummy sweets with Mimi. And Cocona is like, I'm not going to forgive you if you abandon me again. But Papika offers her hand, and she takes it. And they transform and fly off into the sky. And as they do, we see a last shot of Mimi in the forest, watching them and smiling. And then, as the song continues to play, we see them flying in the sky along with a flock of massive butterflies. And they are looking for the exit. And we see a montage of everyone outside Pure Illusion. We see Papika and Cocona just, like, falling through the sky happily. It's a very good shot. At Flip Flap, Hideka, like, seems to pick them up on the sensors. Yeah. And he starts flipping out, and we see Sayuri see this and, like, smile.
And we see Salt.
Salt stands up.
Salt's still here.
And is either going to meet them or going to just take a nap.
Which would be...
Because he's done.
He should be.
He did it.
He should take at least a 5-week sabbatical.
We see Yayaka sharing some bread with Yuxkul.
Yes. Some cake, let's be clear.
Okay, yeah, it is
It
cake.
is Yayaka, and also Yuxkul.
And
you shouldn't feed rabbits cake, but I'm not clear that Yuxkul is a rabbit. So, considering we've just seen what a rabbit looks like.
Yeah. She looks up and smiles and presumably, like, sees them in the sky. We see Toto, Nunu, and Yu playing rock, paper, scissors together.
Yeah, like we saw Toto and Yu.
Yeah, but now Nunu's with them. Nunu is also finally in some decent clothes.
Yeah.
She's in a school uniform.
Fucking finally.
And we see Iroha.
Yeah.
They all also look up and clearly, see the girls. And we see Iroha, who is painting again.
Yeah.
And she sees something out the window and,
Which is probably them falling to the earth.
And, frames it, and we see that she also still has her nails painted.
Yeah.
And the last shot of the show is Papika and Cocona, holding hands in the sky. Boo flies by with the hover surfer, and they hop on and fly off. And the end.
That's the end. Tell us about that song.
So that song is Over the Rainbow.
Okay, good name.
The lyrics were written by Yohei Matsui. The song was arranged by Tomas, who is the head music dude.
Right.
Person.
We talked about Tomas.
Yeah. And it was performed by Tomas, featuring MAO and Minami Takahashi, who, if you don't recall, are Cocona and Papika's Japanese voice actors.
Oh, yeah.
So it is I don't know if it's quite an image song, but it is...
It's image song adjacent.
Yeah,
Okay. We're going to get every variation on an image song in this show, I assume, at some point. We're just going to talk about image songs all the time.
Yeah, they're good.
So that was good.
Yeah.
That fucking kicked ass.
Yeah. I'm deeply in love with this show.
Yeah.
If it isn't clear. It has its problems, obviously, but...
Pretty much every show has its problems.
Yeah. I don't want to dismiss the problems the show has. If someone sees the fucking transformation sequences, or the way Papika dresses sometimes, or Nunu, and is not for me.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be no, you should watch it anyway. I'm gonna be yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
It's still really important to me, and I think very good, but you don't have to.
Yeah.
Where do we want to start?
So... Themes?
Yeah.
That's the thing we do on this show, right?
Yeah.
It's been so long. But...
Yes. Very clearly a coming-of-age story.
Yes.
Impossible not to be.
Also, do want to talk about aesthetics as well, because I think that's tied to themes, but is a very important, different subject with this show.
Yeah.
Because I've had some realizations about that. But theme-wise, coming of age, yes. Decisiveness.
It is, yeah. Cocona has problems making up her mind, deciding what she wants to do, who she wants to be, who she wants to be with.
And ultimately, it seems like the last two episodes, what their attempted answer to the question of the question that is just Cocona going what the fuck, is completely normal to be scared of making big decisions.
Yeah,
but that shouldn't stop you.
Yes. Yeah.
And you shouldn't put the decision impetus onto other people and let people decide your life for you.
Also, with Cocona's speech about how she might have regrets, but it's better than not doing anything, and with Salt being offered the chance to fix his mistakes and just shooting that chance in the face, is very clearly saying, your mistakes define you and are important, and you can atone for them, but you should not waste your time wanting to change them.
Right. Because Salt would be an entirely different person if he
and I think
probably a worse person if he made.
We also get hints of that in the episode with Iroha, although that episode comes out feeling like it's on the opposite side of that argument, because they do change things for Iroha, and it's better.
Well, but they change things for Iroha because they change what the decision she made was.
Yeah.
I don't think that's necessarily against the themes, because what they did is made her more determined, basically.
That's true. That's true.
In the original happenstances,
she just ran away.
Which is exactly, again, Cocona just running away to other people to make decisions for her. or just shirking the responsibility of making decisions. But the decision that Cocona and Papika collectively make for Iroha is to actually engage with her grandmother.
Right.
So at that point, it's saying you can change the past as long as you make sure to change it good, actually make a decision.
Yeah.
Listen, metaphors are hard in speculative fiction. Sometimes we can't take everything completely literally. But it's very interesting to me. Mm-hmm. And also the kind of theme of, like, parenthood, I guess. Like, it's there.
Mimi is, like, directly reflective of, like, Cocona's desire to not have to make her own choices.
Right, yes.
But
sorry, I was just gonna say, the other mother,
right,
taking over for Mimi in the first place, mm-hmm. like, convincing her to give her control,
right,
is, again, like, you aren't powerful enough to do this, let me do it for you.
Yeah.
So it's still, like, this constant, that is always what this entity is trying to do.
I think, also separately from that theme, the show is definitely making a point about how, like, our parents shape who we are, mm-hmm. and are important to us, mm-hmm. and matter, but it is very easy for parents to become anchors that weigh us down, and keep us from being able to make our own decisions, and keep us from, like, being who we want to be.
Right.
And it is also saying something with the other mother, mm-hmm. about identity, and how, and this is throughout the series, people are not just one thing. People are not just the one thing you see.
Right.
Like,
there's the whole episode about, like, Papika switching between forms to try to be friends with Cocona in different ways.
Mm-hmm. And Papika rejects that version of Mimi, and the show does not necessarily, like, condemn her for that, mm-hmm. but it does say, like, that version of Mimi is real. You might not want to, that version of Mimi might be bad, that part of Mimi is bad,
it's still part of Mimi.
You might not want to be friends with that part of Mimi. You might hope that Mimi is less like that part of her, but it still exists and can't be ignored.
And in the episode prior to these two, Mimi says, when Salt says that she's not the real Mimi, she says, but I am Mimi, and I was your father too.
Right.
And, like, it's just
it seems like that entity, whatever it is, I mean, obviously it's a metaphor, but within the fiction of the show, whatever it is like sort of a manifestation of the parts of people that they hide from other people, or that other people don't want to see.
I am the shadow, the true self.
Yes, basically. But less...
Or just like a reflection of our toxic.
Right. Aspects. Yeah, it's not like, oh, I'm the part of you that's gay. And you don't want to be me. Because this show says
very gay.
You should want to be gay. Being gay is cool.
If being gay gives you superpowers.
Yeah.
So that's also a theme, I feel like.
It is, yeah.
Being gay gives you superpowers. Love gives you superpowers. Again,
right.
Like, Cocona could transform in part because of her amorphous,
right.
which comes from her mother.
Right.
So, like, there's multiple layers of, like...
She is literally carrying a part of her parents inside of her.
Yes. And like, love is helping her in pure illusion.
Right.
Again, metaphor.
And also, like, the very first time she partially transforms in the first episode, it's because she's worried about Papika, who is, like, going to die.
Right.
And the same is true of the first time we see Papika partially transform, because she's worried about Cocona.
And when they fully transform for the first time, it's because they shared a potato.
Listen, sharing food is very romantic.
No, I'm not... That is not a joke I was making.
Okay.
That was a genuine observation.
Mm-hmm. I think the show definitely wants to say something about, like, it's hard to understand when you're queer.
Yes.
It's
the whole show seems to be like, things are confusing in general. Just life, fucking weird, dude. Mm-hmm. But that ties into the queer stuff very easily.
And it's interesting the way in which, like, when Cocona is separated from Papika, she is in a world that is just much more lifeless than the world she was in before. Mm-hmm. When she does not have the person she loves, doesn't have anyone she loves. Mm-hmm. Her mother, Papika, they're both gone. Mm-hmm. It's just mundane.
It's the magic is gone, which is really interesting.
Yeah,
like poignant.
Mm-hmm. I also want to talk about what like pure illusion means. Like, pure illusion is not reality,
right? In
a literal sense.
No,
it is called pure illusion for a reason,
right?
But it is also, like, in some senses, I think, more real.
Yeah,
I think the show is like, pure illusion shows often a truth that people don't want to see, or something that is being hidden. And I think it's very interesting that the show is like,
even like from a even from like if we look at it from like an in-universe perspective, like to your point, there are societies that exist inside of pure illusion. Those don't just go away. Those are like constant. They are reflections of the characters' like stuff. But they're not just that. Like, the whole fucking gyroid town in the desert is like isn't just gone because Cocona and Papika aren't there.
Right.
Well, which had space between, like, she was doing other shit at that time.
I wish she wouldn't.
Can I look? We might need to go back to theme stuff.
Okay.
But I do want to talk about aesthetics.
Yeah, sure.
Because
first, sorry, not to interrupt you.
Right.
But I do want to ask you what you think of how the show, like, the art style, because it is a very unique looking show. There isn't any other show I know of that looks quite like Flip Flappers does.
Yeah.
And I know, obviously, you have not seen a lot of anime. Right. That's the point of this show. But you know what anime looks like.
I've been familiar with an anime or two. I really like the art style.
Okay.
There are moments where it looks kind of weird, but not any more so, I think, than other anime I've seen. Yeah. No offense to like, I'm not gonna be one of those guys that's just like, anime looks bad.
No.
Like, fuck that. It's like, there are stylistic things that, like, the thing that gets me is the characters' noses in this show.
Yes.
Which look entirely different based on whether you're looking at them from a side profile or head on.
Yeah.
Which is not a huge deal or anything. It's just a funny thing to note, I think. And the show as a whole is very colorful and very, it's very fluid.
Yeah,
and I like that a lot. And it's got the fucking, like, Ghibli tears that I love.
It does, yeah.
When people cry, where it, like, it doesn't look like how crying actually looks. It looks like how crying feels.
Right.
Yeah, I really like the art style.
Okay. What did you want to say about the aesthetics, though?
So I just put this together when we were talking about stuff, actually. Or some of this, at least. I mentioned that when pure illusion is leaking out into the real world and the flip-flap facility is getting all fucked up. I called it Dali-esque.
Yeah.
Because, like, there's a fucking melting piano.
There is,
and, like, there's paint splotches, and everything is very abstract and weird. And then I also thought about butterflies.
Yeah.
Because butterflies are also a thing in Dali paintings. Like, those are a common element in Dali's paintings. He's got that kind of famous one where there's, like, a ship.
Right.
The sails are butterfly wings.
Right, yes, yeah. Forget the name of that one.
I don't know it. But, like, thinking about it, like, consider, like, art reflections on art seems to be like a major thing in the show's visual direction.
Iroha is literally a painter.
Iroha's a painter. Her painting looks like the river that Cocona sees.
Yes.
There's the stuff we've talked about, like optical illusions, like when we see Mimi and her face is an old lady and a young woman.
The one of Jacob von Uexkule's biggest like things is about like objects that are nothing, that are like not what you think they are, but are also meaningless in a way.
Okay.
But have a depth of meaning. And one of the biggest things is like a stairway in the middle of a field that goes nowhere.
Okay.
Which is like a famous art installation, I think. I can't remember the exact details of that.
Oh, was he not a painter? He was like a physical artist?
Uexkule was a fucking, like, scientist.
Oh, right.
He talked about the fucking bionics of the self or something. I can't remember. There was something weird like that on his Wikipedia page. But also,
Science is art.
There's just that statue of the thinker.
Yeah.
In the school courtyard, which is where they enter, Uexkule's
Pure Illusion, yeah.
Pure Illusion. Fuck. I can't say words anymore. I used them all up.
Oh no. We're out of words?
Mm-hmm.
I thought I stashed some. Okay.
The butterfly motif is very important because, like, her name is Cocona, which sounds like cocoon.
Oh, I'm a fucking dumbass.
She literally, like, wants to just wrap herself in a cocoon and not have to make any decisions.
Right. And so many things cocoon as a verb in this show.
Yeah.
Mostly the monsters.
Yeah. Uexkule has a cocoon he lives in.
That's also true. And yeah, also the butterfly motif also, I mean, literally what a butterfly does with a cocoon is come out.
Yes.
So, I feel like there's an inherent queer subtext there.
Also, I don't know if...
Reminds me of, like, flowers blooming. Flowers blooming are also, I think you've pointed out to me that flowers blooming is often a, like, lesbian imagery.
Yeah, well, that's a vagina imagery, specifically, a lot of the time.
Well...
But, like, lilies, flowers in general
lilies.
are often sapphic imagery, yes.
We talked about lilies. What were you going to say? Sorry.
I don't know if Papika's name is referencing papillon, which is French for butterfly.
Oh.
It might not be. I might be completely off base with that, but it could be.
If it isn't, that's a very cool coincidence.
Yeah.
Especially because, of course, Cocona is the one who's sheltered.
Right.
And Papika is already a butterfly. She's already just fucking her. Just extremely decisive, extremely loud.
So, we've kind of brushed over it. What do you think of the stuff with Papika?
So, like, when you say the stuff...
I mean, like, okay. Her arc in general, but, like, specifically right now I want to sort of home in on the fact that she was an adult who grew up with Mimi, who is Cocona's mother, and then she regressed back to a baby and grew up with Cocona and forgot a lot of stuff, but then did get her memories back. Is clearly not an adult.
Yeah.
Is clearly still 14. Like, does not have the attitude. Is clearly less mature than she was when we saw her as an adult.
Right.
But does remember that stuff. Does say that she loved Cocona from the day she was born.
It's fucking weird. I think, here's the thing. It's not quite like fucking Twilight Eclipse vibes.
Right.
Because it feels like, I mean, Papika just loves in general. I feel like she might not know what different types of love are.
For sure.
And, okay, here's the thing that I keep coming back to when I think about this. I keep thinking, okay, literally, it's weird and maybe a little awkward,
Uh-huh.
but metaphorically, and then my brain just sort of ... because I don't know what the fuck that's a metaphor for.
Yeah, I don't know what it means. Okay. Papika loses everything.
Yeah.
She loses her best friend. She loses her life, such as it was. And she just immediately regresses to being a child. Mm-hmm. And then apparently, shifts between stages of maturity depending on what Cocona said, what that means.
Yeah, and what we see her undulate between ages.
And
undulate between ages is just a phrase I said.
Yeah, it sure
to accurately describe a thing that happens to a character on this real show that people can watch and made.
And okay, in a way, Papika didn't get to have a childhood.
Yeah.
She was raised in a lab.
Right. Twice.
But, she also apparently, at least partially, got to grow up with Cocona.
Yeah.
And then something happened. It's unclear what. I guess it doesn't really matter. And it's Papika basically got to redefine who she was. Who she became is not much different, but she
got to redefine her life.
Yeah.
Which is also very queer.
It is, really, yeah.
She had a shitty home life, and now just remade herself from the ground up with her new girlfriend. Who is also the daughter, again, metaphor, it doesn't work. It's weird, but...
Yeah.
I don't think it's bad.
I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's problematic, really.
I think it's maybe...
It's so outside the realm of what can happen in reality.
It's hard to,
again, you mentioned Twilight. Grooming is a real thing.
Grooming is a real thing.
Edward...
Nope.
No, it's not Edward who did it? Oh, you're thinking of Jacob and fucking
Renesmee.
Nessie. I thought Edward, watched Bella grow up, though. Is that not true?
Maybe? I don't know enough
Spoilers for Twilight, I guess.
Spoilers for Twilight. But, I mean, she was, 17 in the first book, and he's, 80.
Yeah. But, it's not like Papika was an adult, Cocona grew up, and Papika was gonna get that. It was...
Right.
Papika forgot who she was, became a child, met someone her same age, and was I feel a connection to you. And it's just not a thing that happens.
It's just not a thing that happens, and then she also regained her memories, like you mentioned.
Yeah.
It's just weird.
Yeah.
And I think, here's the thing. I think it is helped very much by the fact that Papika is a fucking weirdo.
Yeah,
who does not have rational processes. And I think it's helped by the fact that Papika herself couldn't be bothered to think about this shit too hard.
I guess so.
So I guess I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
It's just, it's maybe weird and maybe, at the worst, very overcomplicated writing.
Yeah, It basically only really exists to give Papika a connection to Mimi.
Yeah. And also to impart to, breed resentment from Cocona towards Papika, because she starts getting jealous of Mimi,
right?
Who she doesn't know who that is,
right?
Also, hey, she got her dad back.
She did. I don't know. I really hope Salt tells her, because I don't know she knows yet.
That's a good point.
Again, hope he's going to meet her, but it's fair if he goes to take a nap and then goes to talk to her about what the fuck's going on.
Yeah. I guess, she hasn't been... Cocona wasn't in many of the scenes where that comes up directly in dialogue.
Right, yeah.
So I guess she might not know by the end of the episode.
Mm-hmm.
But Salt, I mean, Salt's whole thing is atoning. Like,
yeah.
I bet he would tell her.
I bet he would tell her, yeah.
God, the fucking relationship triangle, though, between Salt, his daughter Cocona, and his daughter's best friend, who is also his wife's best friend, who is also, he knew as an adult, who is now a child, and is now his daughter's girlfriend. Slash wife.
Because they did have wedding dresses.
They got Butterfly married.
We didn't say it before, but there's no fucking there's no heterosexual explanation.
They
were in wedding dresses.
Yeah.
But this isn't a love story.
This isn't a love fucking get the fuck out of
It
here.
would be fucking weird. It's gotta be really weird for Salt.
It's gonna be weird the most for Salt of any of the three characters.
Mm-hmm. It's just...
Which is why I would not blame him for just sort of like...
taking a nap.
Yeah. Also, I don't blame him for just maintaining distance during the whole Amorphous gathering phase.
Yeah, Speaking of relationship triangles, though...
Yeah?
Yayaka, Cocona, and Papika.
Yeah. Cocona has two hands.
Cocona does have two hands. I feel like Yayaka has accepted that Cocona doesn't like her that way, though.
That's fair.
And I hope that Yayaka can find a girlfriend. I don't know. I was gonna say Yu, but I don't know what the age gap is there.
Yeah. Also, I'm glad those kids are alright.
I'm glad those kids are alright.
I'm glad those awful, stupid children are fine.
They didn't know. They were created from the shards of Cocona's mom.
Yeah.
Fucking.
Why is Mew so fucking weird?
She just okay. I don't know if I said this when she first showed up, but I often describe Mew as like in animated adaptations of manga. There are characters in the manga who appear, but that the anime doesn't really have time to focus on. So those characters will show up in the anime, but then they don't really do anything.
Right.
Because they don't have time to get to the part of the manga where they do stuff. Right. But they don't just want to write them out for some reason. Because anime adaptations feel some weird fucking need to be as accurate as possible when I just
when they aren't.
I just wish anime adaptations would be like Hollywood adaptations of movies. You don't have to adapt the fucking whole panel structure. Just the broad strokes is fine. Anyway.
Although that is changing apparently what with The Lion King.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just a shot-for-shot fucking remake.
That's different. That's an adaptation of another movie. It's a remake of a different movie.
That's fair. Anyway.
Nunu is like those characters. She appears in the show, and it's like, is she gonna do something? But she doesn't. And it's like they ran out of room to get to the parts of the manga where she would have done stuff, but there isn't a manga. This is an original anime that is not based on a manga at all.
So she's just kind of there.
She's just kind of there.
She's
there and she needs to put some fucking clothes on.
Yu and Toto were made of the very stoic parts of Mimi, and then they were made from like one shard that they split in two, and that's why they're twins who have basically the same personality.
Although that changes by the end.
Yeah. Nunu was made from the part of Mimi that's just like, do you ever get tired of being nice? Don't you just want to go ape shit?
Don't you just want to shoot this robot in the brain? Don't you just want to have a fucking real-ass Glock?
Also, Boo
is probably not literally a Glock. That's a specific brand, but whatever.
Yeah. Boo...
Boo's there.
Hey.
Boo's here.
Hey, for the record. So, Boo gets muscled. He gets the muscle. He gets the Hulkbuster. Literally, he gets a fucking giant robot form that he comes down from a satellite. He's a fucking Hulkbuster. Fucks up. Eats shit.
Eats complete shit.
Nunu shoots him in the fucking dome. And he rockets up. And he goes into pure illusion. And then he does not get involved in the plot at all from the rest of the episode.
Yeah, I don't know what the point of those scenes is. They just wanted to animate some weird shit, I guess.
They, like, it's the opposite of fucking... Okay. The Last Jedi has a lot of moments where it utilizes the propensity to forget about the comic relief character.
Right,
to make you forget where BB-8 should be. And then reveals, oh, BB-8's been doing something really important. And this is like the opposite of that, where...
They focus really hard on the comic relief character.
Yes, and then don't have him do anything actually important.
He is just pointless. I don't understand why this shitty robot is in this show at all.
Let alone why he gets these moments in these last 2 episodes.
Yeah,
Gets this weird, like, relationship building with New.
Yeah.
Where she beats him up and then they're friends.
It's very weird.
It's so strange. It's a strange show.
It's a weird show. I don't feel like it runs out of time, though. Like,
no, yeah.
It doesn't know what to do with Boo at the end.
Yeah, it maybe has too much time. That might be the problem.
They
just had to fill some time, so they added these extra aspects. Because, like, what it's trying to say, it can say a lot quicker than it actually does, I feel like. Every individual episode, I think, is, like, individually important to the overall narrative, but individual scenes, especially with Boo, are not super necessary.
No, Boo's just not necessary.
I mean, he has his whole, like, what is probably his pure illusion,
right?
But they don't do much with that for him as a character.
No, and he's like, it's implied that maybe he used to be a person that Hidaka worked with.
And
but
he just
then
transhumaned his brain into a robot.
But then that nothing really comes of that either.
Yeah. There's a lot of blank space that I think you could, like, there's a lot of fanfic space that I think you could utilize, and I bet people have. I don't know how popular the show is.
Not as much as it should be in my IMO.
That's fair. Then we're doing God's work.
We're doing God's work, hopefully. We're going to introduce 8 new people to this show.
Spread the gospel of Flip Flappers. A very deeply weird...
That again, I'm like, if you don't want to watch it, it's fine.
Yeah, no, that's fine. We're not going to be evangelists about this. It's just sort of, the gospel's here if you want to partake.
Again, it is very important to me that this is a show that ends with, like, 2... queer women happy and in love.
Yes.
Like, you don't get a ton of that in anime.
There isn't even a lot of, like, it's vaguely bittersweet, but it's mainly sweet.
Yeah, like, Mimi's gone, but not really.
Yeah, she's still, again, like, part of Pure Illusion.
And it doesn't seem like Cocona can't go back there.
Like, so, it's implied, certainly the opposite, that they are going to continue...
Yeah.
Like... Hidaka's probably going to continue his research into Pure Illusion, and they're just going to keep going on adventures. And I theme-wise, I thought of another theme thing. I know it's been an hour since we talked about themes.
It's fine.
I think we've talked before. I think it's been a while. I think we've talked before about how Pure Illusion is like about the connections between people.
Yeah.
So like. The solidifying, like, we're going to keep going to Pure Illusion is, like, we're going to keep together, basically. Like, and again, that's also a theme of the show, is, like, Cocona and Papika literally being like, we need to stay together.
Yeah.
Both physically and emotionally.
Right.
So it's cool.
Yeah.
It's cool to me. I just, like, I just think it's neat. I didn't have anything interesting, I guess, to say about Pure Illusion being the connections between people. I just, like, fancy sci-fi metaphors.
Yeah.
And it's cool.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's pretty.
It is very pretty.
It's got lasers.
It sure does. I think that's about all we can say on this.
Yeah. 10 out of 10. 9 out of 10.
Yeah, I'd give it a 9 out. I'd give it a 9 out of 10.
I give it...
It has problems.
I give it...
That I can't ignore.
I give it 4 Papika sniffs out of 5.
Great. Uh-huh.
I give it 0 sweet carrots.
So we should say...
Yeah.
Now that we're done with this show...
Uh-huh.
The next series we're going to watch will be Season 1 of My Hero Academia.
Yeah.
Because we watched an older show that is very popular for girls. Mm-hmm. We watched a movie, an older movie, that is also very popular. We watched Flip Flappers, which is
a new show,
relatively recent. I don't know if it's for girls. It's for me, though.
Well, you're a girl, so...
Yeah. And Flip Flappers, not very well known.
Right.
So the next show we're going to watch is a very popular modern show for boys.
Yes.
It's going to be the first shonen we watch.
Uh-huh.
So
it's going to be the first shonen I have watched at all, I'm sure.
very interested to see how you react to some shonen tropes.
Unless the first episode of Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood counts as a shonen.
That counts.
That's
a shonen,
That's
yeah.
A shonen? Okay.
It's written by a woman, but it's for boys.
Okay.
That's the target audience.
Okay.
So that's what we're going to watch next.
Yeah.
Be ready for that.
It's, I am here. That's what the guy in there says, right?
That is what the guy in there says.
All Might?
No, his name is the guy in there.
Right. Okay. There's a slug girl. There's a girl who's a slug, right? And a frog girl?
Yeah, I forgot that she had slug powers. Yeah.
And,
not the frog girl doesn't have slug powers. She has frog powers. There is also another girl that has slug powers.
Right, yeah. I think there's a centaur.
I don't know about that.
Is there a No, I'm thinking of a guy with a tail. I've seen a guy with a tail.
Yes, there's a guy with a tail. You'll meet all these characters.
I'll meet all these characters and the green-haired boy.
Yep.
The blonde guy who looks mean. Looks like a real Shadow the Hedgehog motherfucker.
Uh-huh.
I'm excited. I'm not as excited as I was for Sailor Moon, but...
Okay, that's fair. I hope you like it, though.
I do, too.
We're only going to watch the first season. We will come back to the later seasons after we watch some other shows, probably.
Yeah.
But as always, thanks for listening. Thanks for listening to this whole season.
Yeah.
I really love Flip Flappers again.
I think I do, too. I'm a fan now.
As always, you can find me at Lorena27 on Twitter.
And you can find me at FryLord Zarek on Twitter.
And
maybe I fucking hate Twitter. I want to get off Twitter.
It's fair, I guess. How will your fans get your content, though?
That's fair.
And you can find the show at late_school.
Mm-hmm.
And thanks to Soichi Sakagami for use of the songs Yutori Adventure and Saikai no Yakusoku. Together,
we
flip
flap. How are you?
I'm good. Throat? Bad.
Throat bad?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not used to it. We need to reacquaint ourselves with throat.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck am I saying?
Reacquaint yourself with throat?
the fuck am I talking?
That sounds like one of those fucking... You know that Twitter that just posts, like, pictures of the Mega Man power get screen, but with random stuff, like, equip yourself with thirst. That, but reacquaint yourself with throat.